Hello everyone, welcome to Taurus Rising in Depth with Venus in all houses. This is good for all astrology, Vedic or Western. Check the box below. So for Taurus Rising, Taurus Ascendant, in some depth I will analyse relationships, health, wealth, career and characteristics. I will also be going into some detail about Mahadashas because different planets are good for you and some are more difficult. And finally, a very important analysis of Venus, ruling planet in all houses. So, Taurus rising, this is a very generous and all-encompassing sign. It's the sign of Mother Nature. It's a fixed earth sign. You are very giving, very caring, very open, very much about bringing people together. And you love to have a feeling of security and nurture about you. Nature and nurture. It's everything about nature and nurture is who you are. You love being in Mother Nature, and you love to, to walk in the woods, to swim in the sea, even just to be among the, the animals. You love animals. You love all creatures. You have a real feel for the earth itself, and you love nothing more than the earth beneath your feet, safe and secure. And you are very fond of things being continually the same. You like to feel that things are predictable. You really don't like sudden change. Sudden change throws you off completely. And therefore you often stay where you live for a long, long time. You often stay in the same job for a long, long time. And you stay also with your relationships for a long, long time. That's because you like that feeling of security. But even when things get really tough around you in your home and in your relationships and in your job, you stick it out. You stick it out hoping that things will improve. That's because change throws you off. And so what you need more than anything else is just to feel like a relaxed everyday life is going to continue at a nice steady pace, and then you're a happy person. But when you are thrown off, when you are destabilized, you become very anxious, slightly insecure, and very often it will send you into your default mode. What is your default mode? Overindulgence, Taurus. Overindulgence. Food, the goodies of life, sex, if I dare say it, everything that's about sensual gratification, you can overindulge big time. And some of your problems may be around your weight as well, because you love food so much. Okay, so having that sense of being able to control these things is really important for you. So health-wise for you, Taurus, overindulgence, I've just been talking about it, is your downfall, and you have to be very, very careful to keep a steady and healthy diet at all the right limits. And actually, you often enjoy organic food, natural food. You are actually a very good cook as well. I haven't mentioned that. You love to use food, to cook food, to bake, all of those homely qualities. You have those. It's just trying to find that particular type of balance, isn't it? Areas which are sensitive for you are kidneys and urinary system, and also sometimes your hips. So wealth is a very important area of your existence to you. That's because you like that feeling of security that having wealth provides. You're not greedy though. All you want is just enough to feel safe and secure. And therefore you often very good at gaining that wealth. You naturally attract resources, and you are very, very good at managing your bank balance. Expenses, you keep them in line. You know how to avoid loss. So you often are very fortunate in this area. Also because you have Gemini, Sagittarius and Pisces in your money areas, if you like, of your chart, you are very inventive. You are very good at finding new sources of income and being very creative in this regard. So it's a fortunate area of your life. So for Taurians with Aquarius on your 10th house, you very often prefer to work in a larger organization or even for the government. You like that feeling of security. Sometimes you can absolutely be a business orientated person, but on the whole, many Taurians like to work in a bigger organization and climb the rung steadily there. And you like that sense of security and belonging, okay? And you often have a very public service type of career. You do very well in anything where you are serving other people. So steady and sure is always the best for yourself. You don't do well in any area where there can be sudden fluctuations, sudden changes. High risk areas are not normally where you feel okay. You need a steady career, as I say, and you often are very successful when you work for the government or for large organizations. Now, relationships. Scorpio is the 7th house sign, and therefore it gets quite interesting for you in your relationships. I've just been talking about how you need to feel secure, and this is so much so in your personal spousal relationships. You want security, you want a long-lasting permanent relationship more than anything at all. You're not interested in going from relationship to relationship, and you form a very deep and really close bond with your mate. But here's the issue. Very often you can attract to you scorpionic type people, that is aggressive people, much more extrovert and outgoing than yourself sometimes. And sometimes also, depending where Mars has gone, the Lord has gone, you can unfortunately have some really contentious people to have relationships with. If you have to be really careful who you choose as a partner, because there can be a lot of contention in your relationships, which disturbs you greatly because you just want peace and calm in your life. But very often relationships are the area where you do not find that, and you seem to be attracted to a sort of a dominant mate who is often very argumentative, very extrovert, may even be the worst case scenario, violent. So you have to be very careful around your choice of mate, because you are very passive in a relationship sometimes. Here's the other level of it. You can be quite passive. You can be quite not wanting to cause a stir. It's because you are afraid of loss, because you don't want to rock you don't want to rock the boat. So therefore you often end up in a sort of unequal relationship, unfortunately, too, and that's because you become dominated by your mate. So no, relationships aren't the easiest area for you, but hopefully, depending on other factors and your D9 chart, they will be okay. Now let's move on to look at Mahadashas and the planet in regard to Taurus. So quickly through the planets that give you the most favorable times in their Mahadashas. I'm leaving out Rahu Ketu because they're shadow planets. So Saturn Mahadasha is your Yoga Karka planet, the most successful time, the time when you climb up that career ladder and you find supreme success. You are favored by all superiors and you feel a real sense of satisfaction in all areas of your life, but particularly career. The sun is very successful also, a short time in your life, but very much successful for your home life and a real sense of belonging. Mercury, superb time for children and all forms of education. Very good also for having children in this Mahadasha. Mars can be a little bit tricky for you. It's your 7th Marika house and your 12th house, so there can be some upsets in this Mahadasha. But on the whole, though, it's a Kendra Lord, therefore it's still favorable for you and often very good for your relationships. Venus is your ruling planet. It can only be favorable for you, but as it's your 6th house ruler, there is some contention in this Mahadasha, there is a bit of upset and you need to be careful with your health. So, Jupiter and the Moon are the difficult Mahadashas for Taurus. Why is this? Well, that's because Jupiter is your 8th and 11th house lord. So, it's a very expansive time with maybe new assets, maybe new source of income, but always that 8th house, sudden events, and very destabilizing for you. So, you just can't get that sense of continuity. Moon Mahadasha, very emotional time for you. 3rd house Mahadasha, and you may even feel mentally drained, I would imagine. Also very emotional and very mentally draining for you. So much going on, sibling issues also. Moon is also very much about new people in your life, but you have to be sure they are really on your wavelength. Now, Venus rising in its own sign of Taurus is extremely favourable. Favourable for all the Taurian experiences of having a secure, safe, loving environment from a very early age, very often having good looks as well, and having a love of all the goodies in life, absolutely prominently shown. You attract people to you. You are very attractive in your looks and in your personality. You have very strong ties in your relationships also. And sometimes, though, you can be too focused on yourself a little bit rather than on your partner. And this can cause a little bit of contention, dare I say it. But on the whole, it gives a very easy start in your life, mostly. Have to look at all the other grahas, and you have a natural inner self-confidence. You feel safe in yourself, you feel secure in yourself, and therefore it's favourable for all the other areas of your life. Taurus is very much similar to the 2nd house, and therefore when you have Venus in that 2nd house, it just emphasizes all of those Venetian qualities. You are even more of a Taurus, even though it's in Gemini. You love the goodies of life, food. Be careful with overindulgence, particularly here. You're very sociable and you love your very close relatives. You love to be near them, with them, spending time with them. You're a very much about being with your family. It makes you feel so happy and so safe. You're a completely family orientated person. You can also be a little bit possessive as well, okay, because it's about things. Okay? A 2nd house is all about things which you own, and you love to have beautiful things around you, and you love beauty in your environment and in your home. So you make a beautiful home, and and you love to invite people into your home. So it's a very auspicious placement. Now, Venus as your ruler in the 3rd house is a very interesting position, because the 3rd house is a natural Gemini house, but the 3rd house here is Cancer, a very similar sign to you. So all of those beautiful Taurian nurturing qualities come to the fore here, but in a very extrovert way. So you're a sort of person who's very, very nurturing, caring, and very giving, and you attract people to you by the bucket load. Particularly, you are very fond of your family and your siblings, and very often have a very close relationship with your siblings, all to your benefit there. You are very much into communication, very much into meeting up with people, lots of people all the time, and just having a good chat. You can be very gossipy sometimes on the negative side. You have to be careful with that. Okay, but it's a favourable placement here, and it absolutely gives you a love of the beautiful things in life, okay, because of 3rd house, the Gemini house, is all to do with the sort of environment which you like to be in. Okay, so a very artistic position also often gives you skill in the arts, in one of the arts as well. So Venus as your ruling planet from Taurus has gone into Leo in your 4th house. Venus does very well in this 4th house, and in Leo it's got some very favourable qualities to it. Actually, it makes you very sociable, but you simply love your home life more than anything else. You love to have a big, sunny, expansive home. You love to beautify your home. You love to bring people into your home. It's a very sociable placement. You may have had a very strong relationship also with your mother. You do very well in anything to do with real estate, buying property, selling property, and vehicles. You simply love to have more than one car very often, and you're very fortunate in that regard. So it's a very happy placement for Venus, and it's a very ostentatious one too. Venus is your ruling planet from Taurus in your 5th house, probably in Virgo. Now, Virgo is not the best place for Venus, but the 5th house is a superb place to have your ruling planet. So it's got 2 layers to it. This on the first side of it, you often don't have a lot of children when you are Taurus rising because of the Virgo 5th house. But if you do, here it's more likely to be female children, and you are a very, very good parent, a practical parent, someone who gets to grips and nurtures your kids in a very safe and healthy way. Venus is a bit picky though when it's in Virgo, so be careful about being too critical around your children. That can happen sometimes. Too critical, not the normal sort of criticism, but too critical. Now, here's the other thing. It's a very creative house, so you may have artistic talents of many sorts, okay, but they are very often practical, and so therefore you are very often into any sort of practical skill where you need to use your hands, whatever, pottery or painting or any skill which is earth-based, okay, because you've got Taurus here and Virgo here, so a very earthy combination here. So it's a very favorable thing, but you just have to be aware of an overly critical nature sometimes with your children. Now, a very special placement here. Venus from Taurus has gone into the 6th house in Libra, Venus's own sign. Now, this is a special yoga because the 6th house is a troublesome house, but when the ruler of that house is in the house, it's a Viprit Raj yoga. This means that yes, there will be difficulties and some illnesses, and again around those Libran issues like kidneys and urinary system and so on. Maybe weight gain, easy weight gain, be really careful with your weight. But even if there are, some obstacles, some difficulties with your co-workers and some real enmity that, may even be coming in your relationship area, all of these troubles lead to good things for you, because this Raj Yoga means that they actually work out for your benefit. So you cannot avoid the troubles of a 6th house ruling planet, but they will absolutely work out for your long-term benefit. So you need to look at it very carefully, be very persistent in everything which you do, and be very ethical also, because the 6th house is sometimes the house where you can get into all sorts of conflicts around not doing things openly. So be very open about everything with your with your work colleagues and with your spouse. I'm not saying that you won't be, but whatever difficulties you have, relationship wise, work wise, health wise, you should know that they will all work out for your benefit long term. So now Venus, as the ruler of Taurus, has gone into Scorpio in the 7th house. Venus in Scorpio is not that well placed, but your whole personality, your whole sense of being in the world is relationship orientated. And it can be difficult. It has to be said, it's a bit of a trying position here. You sometimes lose your power to other people. You become obsessive in your relationships very, very easily. You become fixated on the way you want things to be, and it can be troublesome for you. You're a very loving, kind person, as I've just been discussing, very caring, very nurturing, but your possessiveness goes into overdrive with this Venus. And you may also conversely attract to you extremely possessive and demanding individuals. So it can be either way. So your relationships need careful care here. On the good side of it, you're very good working with the public. You're superb in any business situation as well. You know how to treat people, you know how to get the best out of other people, and that's a very positive side here. So Venus, ruler of Taurus, has gone into the 8th house, and it's probably in Sagittarius. Venus in Sagittarius is positive in terms of great philosophical truth and understanding. You're a teacher of sorts as well. But the 8th house is a troublesome house whereby your life can turn on a wheel from time to time. Sudden events can turn your life around. But because of your Venus being here, it's actually possible for you to gain benefit from difficult times. Very often that can happen. See where Jupiter has gone. That's the most important thing. You also gain wealth from your spouse, and often you're a very, very good business person also. So Taurus ruling planet Venus is in Capricorn in the 9th house. A 9th house planet is always fortunate because it's tricone house, trine house. You gain from your father. You have a very close relationship normally with your father. You also gain from foreign cultures and foreign philosophy and foreign travel. You love everything about wisdom and religion, and you gain from these things. In fact, you may often find yourself in a career which involves philosophy or religion in some way. You are very, very much socially conservative, and you are very concerned to be dharmic in all your actions and therefore to do the right thing. So because of these fortunate qualities, you attract a great deal of luck into your life. So Venus as your ruler in the Kendra house is always favorable. Venus in Aquarius is well placed because it's a Saturn sign. But here's the thing I've seen with this particular Venus. It's slow to find the right career. It's slow to find the right niche for yourself. But over time you will do that. You work really well in a large organization. You feel safe and happy working for the government or anything which is an all-encompassing organization, and you have your certain part in that. Makes you feel really good, really secure. You are particularly fond of anything which involves people orientation also. One thing is very clear. You have to love your job. You won't stay in any job that you don't enjoy. Enjoyment for you is your job. You go to work to have a good time, to enjoy your day. And as I say, over time you will find the job that is perfect for you. But because it's in Aquarius, a karmic sign, Saturnine sign, although Venus is very well placed here, it will take you some time to find the right career. But when you do, you will love every day of your working life. It's a very favorable placement. Now Venus, as your ruler of Taurus, is in the 11th house in Pisces. This is a very sweet position. Pisces is the exaltation sign of Venus. It couldn't be a more favorable placement. You have come here to have your wishes fulfilled. So whatever your goals are, whatever your desires are, Venus will increase and fulfill those. Materially, it's very, very favorable. You will have enormous amount of assets, very good earning power from your job. You will also attract people to you. You have an enormously wide social circle. You are very friendly with almost everybody, and people are friendly with you. You are relaxed with people, open with people, sympathetic and caring with people, and therefore you attract very many loving relationships into your life. An interesting placement, Venus as your ruler in the 12th house in Aries. Venus in Aries is a fiery position for Venus, and the 12th house can be a bit tricky but has some benefits. Here's how it's going to pan out. You're a very secretive person. You just have this intense desire to keep things under wraps. You may have secret love affairs. You are very sensual also, and overindulgence is easy for you in food, in sensual pleasures also. You're a bit lazy also sometimes. It's hard to get going first thing in the morning and so on. But you are intensely interested in philosophy and religion. You are intensely interested in foreign cultures. Foreign travel is superbly beneficial for you, and you may even live abroad at some point in your life. Just be careful about that secretive nature, that it doesn't fire back onto you. That's the main thing. You are very giving, also very generous person, and therefore you may overspend. You may find that you overspend, which is very unusual for Taurus, but this is the house of expenses. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, everybody. Sub to my channel. I'm starting out again on YouTube. Coming up soon will be rising sign Gemini in very good detail once more. God bless everybody, and goodbye for now.